All right, a very beautiful morning to you. Thank you so much for staying with us right here on your Women Radio WFM 91.7. It's an amazing Wednesday morning. It's midweek already, and I hope that your day is going on well. And of course, you're getting ready to have a long weekend. I mean, Thursday, Friday is public holiday, and then there's Saturday, there's Sunday. I know a lot of people will be traveling today like this, so please just be careful, drive safely, and if you have given yourself to a driver to drive you home, that means if you are using a public transport, please please beg the driver, because for those few minutes, few hours that driver is driving you, you are practically saving my life. So please draw their attention to it and make sure that they drive safely. Okay, so please try as much as you can to do all of that. All right, this is your Women Radio WFM 91.7, and this is the program HerLens right here on Women Radio. This is a program where we discuss, dissect, and disagree on topical issues right here on Women Radio. And we do this Monday to Friday from 9:05 a.m. All right, we get to start up just after the news, and of course, we get to talk about different issues. So today we have Bouquet with us. Unfortunately, Susan had to be because of the public holiday. So Susan had to be, in Nasarawa this morning, and then Ibn Abba also has a training this morning. So it's just me and Bouquet on the show this morning. So good morning, Bouquet. How are you today? Once again.
Yeah, Buki is doing great. I hope this time around the network is not affecting. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. So good morning, Alan's family. How are you also doing? Yeah, you mentioned the public holiday. I was actually thinking it was Friday and Monday, because I had planned me and
Mm.
some team members, from Citadel School of Governance, we have planned that we will meet our mentor on Monday, being a public holiday. So when I had
Oh,
Friday, it was like, okay, what's happening? But it's fine, no problem. Yeah, so we can only celebrate with our Muslim viewers, our family. Yeah, I mean,
mm.
they're getting ready to celebrate. We too, we are here to celebrate with them.
Yeah. Those people that have Muslims and Christians in one family, you don't know what God has done for them. Because I mean, when is the Islamic, celebration time? They are there. When is the Christian version of the holidays or celebrations? They are also there. So if you have both families, or you're from, a family that both religions coexist there, you don't know what God has done for you. You should be thanking your God. All right, so this is Highlands, and yes, we are in the celebratory mood, celebrating our Muslim brothers and sisters, and for the fast so far. I know that for some Christians, they stay on the Lent fast, and I think that will be ending next week, if I'm not mistaken, or yeah, it should be, I think, first week of
Yeah,
April. So
thereabout. Yeah.
next week, yeah.
Mm.
So that's too, and the most important thing is that all the lessons that that has been taught throughout this fast period, both for the Muslims, for the Christians. We're hoping that all of this will bring about a transformational change,
Yeah.
in our lives, in our society, in our everyday thinking. Hopefully we get to see a shift in the way we relate to others and how we can peacefully coexist together. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, we just want a better space around us. We want a better country. We want a better life, and that cannot be done without first achieving that with your neighbor. So if you achieve that with your neighbor, trust me, it will go round. It will definitely go round.
Yeah,
All right,
and
so
let
go
me
ahead.
just chip in one or two things as well.
Mm,
Because I always tell people during their fasting period, even for Christians and all that, during that period, you try not to do things that you think, oh, God will not like, but immediately after you are free,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, back to status quo.
you understand? So for me, that should not be it. We always pray that God will show us the right way, and God actually shows us the right way. It's just that at times we turn the blind eye, we don't see it. So can we, just like Ruth said, can we continue doing the right things. I always emphasize the fact that righteousness exalts a nation.
Okay.
Righteousness means doing right things, do the right things. That is what will exalt us as a nation, either as a Muslim or as a Christian or as a pagan, whatever it is. God has put that consciousness in us for us to do the right thing. So can we do it at all levels? Yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
Thank you too, Buki, for adding that because we just want a better country and it has to start from you and I. All right, couple of things to talk about this morning. But first off, let's look at the town hall meeting that happened yesterday at Ilaro here in Ogun State. Now, we've been having series of town hall meetings, Buki, and at the end of the day, we get to go to the traditional rulers of these towns in Lagos and Abeokuta and tell them that, come on, we want to host a men-only town hall meeting, and we want you, the Kabiyesi, to host this meeting. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to get men in your community, men or religious leaders in your community, your chiefs in your communities to come together and also, come together and let us agree on how we should treat women. Come together and let us agree on what we want to see that will better the lives of women and girls in terms of domestic violence, in terms of empowerment, in terms of sexual abuse, that's going on. And we know that, when the statistics was done from Women Radio, we got to find out that Ogun State had the highest when it comes to domestic violence, sexual abuse, and all. So this informed the town hall meetings that we're having in Ogun State and even, in Lagos, some parts of Lagos. So now, yesterday, the team had this one in Ilaro, here in Ogun State, and a lot actually went down, and I'm glad that we actually went on to do. So I just want us to speak to that, and maybe some of the things we hope to see coming from that town and from every other town that we have actually touched. We went to Egbaland, we went to Oniru in Lagos, we went to one other town in I think we went to Abeokuta too, if I'm not mistaken. So we've just visited different, places around Lagos and Ogun State. So, okay, this is not the first time we're having this. So let's just have your thoughts on
Yes,
this and what you hope to see.
and you know why this one is even making me so excited? Yes, so
Uh-huh.
excited. Is that
Tell us, tell us, tell us.
this is where I come from. I'm from the
Oh,
real family.
wow.
This is
No
why.
wonder. I can see how excited you are.
So I'm so excited, about this, and I can tell you because this is we come from the Olubelis family, which the bigger
Mm,
body is the Agunoye family. And going back history, we're not known for molesting or sexually or abusing women. I can tell you that that's the family that raised me. We lived with uncles. I mean, personally, I'm talking about we lived with uncles right from when we were very young, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and none actually abused us, none actually, went, crossed the line.
yeah.
We were very, very safe with them, very, very safe with them, and I can tell you that our family values the Ubelis, I mean, in terms of what we're talking about, we have it. We respect our women. This is not, I'm not packaging. We respect our women. I mean, Kabesi that you see, I mean, for him, his one wife. Even when we are joking, you say, where will I put them? It's not in our culture. You understand? So
Mm,
I can tell you that he will take it seriously, and you will know. I mean, by the time you begin to look at the statistics, coming from Yewa land, I will be proud of what will come out of that. You understand? I'll be proud of that. Yeah. Well, yes, you did talk about Ogun State and all that, but if you bring it down and begin to cascade it to the local government, I'm sure concerning Yewa, it will be very, very low, because that's our culture. I mean, we might not bring women up like that, you understand, but in
Yeah.
terms of respecting them, giving them their due honor, we see them as wives and all that, and we treat them well. Yes, we will have one or two, that will just go off, which is normal. But I can tell you that what is happening right now, that we are bringing these things, to the custodian of tradition. They will begin to ensure that the citizens, I don't want to use the word subject, the people, that God has given them, to I don't want to use the word rule as well, to organize them, to make them, see the value in culture. They will do the right thing, because this is we need the men to talk to the men, and where you now see
Yeah.
the custodians of tradition, saying this is the way it is, more so that we now have more enlightened others, more enlightened others, they will do well. And before you know what is happening, it will spread across, and you begin to see the metrics,
Mm.
gradually dropping in terms of sexual abuse and things like that, dropping. But there's a whole lot of work to be done. I must say that, because it's not just about talking to the men, but also putting up structures, because the men will have to cascade it, to their own spheres of influence. The men will also have to mentor the younger ones coming in. So it's a whole lot, and it will involve some years in it, but we'll keep doing what we want to do in Women Radio. So, I mean, even if we don't clap for us, we will clap for ourselves in Women Radio.
Yes, so. Yes, so. We'll give ourselves that pat at the back, because we are definitely doing what we say we want to do in terms of women and girls. It's all a part of it. So yeah, we're definitely happy that this took place yesterday. And I'm sure that you definitely get to see more of this as time goes on. All right, it's about 21 minutes to 10 right here on Women Radio, and that's rather 21 minutes after 9. I beg your pardon. It's 21 minutes after 9 right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7, and this is the program HerLens, where we discuss, dissect, and disagree on topical issues. All right, my name is Rose, and of course, I have Buki with me this morning, and we just looked at the town hall meeting that took place yesterday, which is the fifth town hall meeting. And this happened, with community leaders, custodians of culture, religious leaders, and the Kabiesi himself of Ilaro Town was the one who hosted this meeting. All right, so I mean, the theme for it was strengthening family and community bonds, which has been the theme, for the past town hall meetings that we've had. So yeah, that actually took place yesterday at Ilaro. All right, so moving on from there, Buki, let's talk about, earlier we touched on it with Fumi, where we spoke about a video of, this content creator who, intercepted a man who was trying to lure a little girl hawking avocados. So I immediately looked for the link so that we could talk about it this morning and how we should be more careful and very vigilant. Now,
Mm,
imagine that first of all, when I first saw it, God knows I thought it was a skit. And even up to now, I'm still thinking, could this actually be a skit? Because I mean, he's a content creator. But the way he was slapping the man and beating the man at the end of the day, you know, that actually got me thinking. So, but even outside all of this is exactly what happens when we come to little girls being lured. Some of them say, they reach 1,000 naira bouquet, 200 naira, 100 naira, biscuits, sweets is what is being used to lure these little girls. Maybe girls not even as big as this, this little girl that was saying here, who is probably below 10 or maybe below 13. for this little girl that's here. So imagine that this man, this content creator did not, get into the whole conversation, or did not get into the whole scenario. What would have happened? Although the girl marks are sharp, but so what do we need to do, Buki, to stop? Well, I say to stop, or to bring the number of these kinds of things down. Because see the old man, and like I said on Daily News Review, he doesn't even look like somebody that's eating. He doesn't even look like somebody that can take care of himself. So why do you think that you just want to? Meanwhile, with that same money, you can actually go and get, full-grown adults who would give full consent to do whatever you want with the person. Maybe with that kind of money, or maybe with less, but at least that person is an adult. So that one, now them know what they want to do with their body. But this is a small girl.
Yeah, yeah, watching it brings, a bit of unhappiness. And like you said, what can we do about it? There are many points that is flooding my mind now. Number one, yeah, we can say, parents, please do not allow little your children to hawk and things like that. But the truth about it is that some families will still have to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, in as much as we don't want, but some families will, because we are not there to feed them, you know. What I will have to say concerning that is that the parents should equip them. She'll give them warning signs. She'll give them what they need to know, build that confidence in them, give them those signs, that such people will come. And what do they do? And all that. Cry for help, shout for help, walk away, run away, things like that, just to ensure that they are safe. However, but don't let me say however, bottom line is that we don't want children to walk. That's
Mm,
just it.
that's
We don't
just
want
it.
them to walk. You understand? But where they have to, you can actually give them, a defined place where it is safe. For instance, if you look at that video clip, she was not on the street. I guess she was tired, and she
Mm,
decided to sit in a lonely place. That place was lonely. I feel if she was walking and people are passing by and all that, I'm sure that man will not have that time, to begin to pressure her. I mean, from what she said, the man first said it, and then of
mm,
course the man kept pressing on, and then the man actually brought out that 1,000, and all that. If she was walking or she was in a place where people are seated beside her and things like that, that would not have been. So those are things that even when parents say they want to send their children, they can actually give them this and these tips, that even when you want to sit in a place where there are people, there. But beyond that, if you look at that man, he's not balanced. I can tell you.
mm,
There's something wrong up there, because one, he looks so scruffy and all that, his dress is dirty and all that. So even if that kind of man goes, to a brothel or whatever it is, they will chase him out. Obviously,
that
they
one,
will.
yeah, true.
No, they will chase him out, except if the other person is also mad. There is insanity, running in our own head and all that. And for the man, at times we think that because you are mad or you are destabilized, your sexual organs are not working. Oh yes, they do work. And for him is that, well, I can't approach an elderly person. Okay, I can do this. I'm sure he must have tried it, and it worked. And then of course that caught his fancy anytime he sees a vulnerable, because that child was vulnerable where she was seated. But thank God that the skit maker, spotted it out, and he mentioned it, that he also hawked when he was young, and he saw what you know girls were made to go through. So I'm sure immediately he saw that sight, you know,
Mm,
it triggered. It took a while for me. Was watching from his car, when you go through these things, you will not want somebody else to go through that. Let me even find out what is
Yeah.
happening. Let me find out what is happening. Don't let me just assume. You could have assumed that the man wants to buy something and he will just walk away. But something must have triggered to say, you know what, let me, yeah. Though he's a skit maker, he's also looking for content, and I'm sure he spotted. He said, "Let me see what is happening." You understand?
Mm.
So, but generally, I think the government also has a whole lot to do here. This kind of man, they must have been seeing him at that place. Report says that this is not the first girl the man is approaching. So, what did they do? What did they do? It's causing nuisance in the community. Have they tried to get him, call the attention of local government or officers, to get him off the street and go treat him? This is where the government comes. And when I talk about the government, I'm not talking about President Tinubu. He won't come to that locality. There's the local government chairman there, because they are the
Yes.
closest, to the people, to call their attention to say, this man, we've been seeing him, is not healthy. You understand? You could see that he's dirty, he's looking so scruffy and all that. So what are they doing? They're just leaving him to say, okay, just be going. And who knows the next person who will fall for. Then the other angle we need to look at, it's a poverty mindset. Seriously, a lot of people have been lured into this, like you mentioned, because of biscuits, 200 naira, 1,000, 2,000. You understand? It's a poverty mindset. For them is, I need this money. So what do you want to do? Some do not even have an idea until the thing is done, and some actually have the idea. I think this particular girl, she's informed, that she did not agree, even when the man showed her the 1,000. She did not agree and all that.
Mm.
But bottom line is, why must we have things like this? That man must come from a family, except maybe the man walked
Yeah.
community to another community that nobody knows. But in a case where we have family members that have this, what are we doing concerning them? Are we just going to leave them to say, concern me, which I get my own problem? I think we need to begin to look at that area and do the needful so that our family members will not become nuisance. And then, of course, another thing I also want to talk about is, thank God that this kit maker, stood to see what was happening and took action. I
Mm.
want to believe that some people will have passed and they did not do anything
And just go. Yeah.
and just walk away. We should not do that. We should not do that, particularly when we see that the children are vulnerable. We should stop. I know some Nigerians do that. You understand? But can we make it, part of our lifestyle, that when we see things, particularly when it comes to children, it's not just girls, but even boys as well, we stop to say, what's happening? What's happening here? Yes, I know some will back out at you and all that, but hey, you do what is right, because we need to protect these children. They have rights as well. They have rights. Yeah.
Mm. All right. Thank you so much, Buki. I just hope that, we see all of these things, because it's not everything we see online that is all bad. Sometimes it's for us to learn.
Yeah.
Now, this little girl could as well be, if she had the opportunity, she would not even be in the streets in the first place.
Yeah.
So a lot
Yeah.
of things happen, different things happen. So while we're saying that, just like Vicky said, while we're saying that, well, we don't want children to be in the streets in the first place, but sometimes you can't even help it, because it's not like the economy is that
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. And
okay
you're
for
not, you're not
everybody.
even there to help them anyway.
That's the thing. And
Yeah.
they have to eat, they have to feed. So how we want to do? Even if you say you want to help, how many can you help at once? You
That's it.
know. So we would live with this, with the street hawking. We would live with the children out of school. We will live with that, till maybe the government gets it right. and all of us come together to do what we're supposed to
It's
do.
just a shame. It's just a shame on the government, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yes. I know they have pronounced that everybody must be in school, and then of course street hawking for children and all that. But the question is, when you say they should not hawk, what have we done to their parents to help
exactly.
them? You know, even in school, yes, I know the feeding program is still on, but how are we sure that even the schools are still feeding them? You know, when they come back, the school will still request, they will pay for uniform, they'll pay for books, they'll pay for this, they'll pay for that. And then of course, you know, we talked this morning at during the newspaper review, cost of living. I can tell you that by the time you investigate where this girl is living, you yourself will be shocked. It's not a place where people should live.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because they have to make ends meet.
Yeah,
She, the girl might not even have a father. Maybe it's just her, the brother or the sister and the mother. You
exactly.
understand? And they have to fend.
Yeah.
So it just calls that the government should do something. And when I talk about government, I'm not just talking about local government chairman. Now they have
Mhm.
autonomy.
The ward councillors and
Yeah,
what are they even doing?
absolutely. What councillors, even the traditional rulers, let's bring all of them into this matter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
Yeah.
Olowo, the Olowos in the community, what are they doing with their monies as well?
Hmm. All right. I just hope we get it right so that our little girls can be safe. Even if they have to walk, let them be safe.
Yeah.
Let's not always have the let me mind my business kind of phase and you're moving on. Once you sense something is not right, please, because that little girl can as well be somebody can as well be your own child, for crying out loud. So as much as you will protect yours, do well to extend that protection to other young girls out there and even boys too. I mean, they are our children, they're the future of tomorrow. So we need to do what we can to, protect them. All right, this is your Women Radio WFM 91.7. And of course, it's about 25 minutes to 10 right here on Women Radio. And this is the program HerLens. Please do well to dial the numbers 07000 or 09155 You can also dial 08, send your messages, your text messages or WhatsApp messages to 08155 or 081 My name is Rose, and I have Buki with me this morning on the program. So yes, you're not hearing Ibinabo and Susan. I mean, because it's so as far as we're concerned, today it's like the end of the week. So a lot of things have been pushed. Even today, I'm seeing that a training was supposed to have tomorrow has now been brought forward because tomorrow and Friday is public holiday. So I'm sure that a lot of people are just trying to arrange themselves before, at the end of today. So that's why we don't have Buki. Beg your pardon, we don't have Ibinabo and Susan
Yeah,
with us here.
you're in love with me.
Oh yes, you can say that again. All right, get on to something that well, I don't know if it's worrisome, but this particular man, a 36-year-old man, Buki, is still living with his parents. Does that sound odd, or it's just a product of our society? Okay, I'm being told we have a call right now. Let's see who we have on the line. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? Benjamin, you're muted, so maybe that's why I can hear. So please kindly unmute so that maybe I can hear the
Hello,
caller. Yes, we can hear you now. Great.
hello,
Yeah, good morning.
hello,
We can hear you, Mrs. Oboli. Good
hello.
morning.
Can you hear me?
I'm finding it a bit hard to hear you, but go ahead. Let's see. Hmm. All right, do well to call back. Do well because we can't hear you over here. Do well to call back or dial the other number. I'm not sure which of the numbers you're dialing right now. But please do well to dial the other number so that we're able to hear you. Okay, 07000 or 09155 Those are the numbers to get in touch with us this morning. So please do well to call us back. All right, so because I was saying that isn't that one kind for a 36-year-old man still staying with his parents and all of that, and he comes out to say that, oh, he's turning 36 next month. And he says that he lives in this village and he works as a teacher in a private school where he's earning 50,000 naira monthly. He said it's not a big salary, but it's honest work. And on the side, he runs a poultry farm, which brings in, hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. What do you know where you're calling from?
Yeah, uh, this is Sunday. Calling from Kenya. I don't know again.
Hi, Sunday. Sunday. Wait, oh, Sunday.
Bro,
You don't think we
no,
hear from you. I hope you're good.
exactly. My own
Yeah.
schedule is always for the
Mm.
night. So,
That's
I
true.
was just listening to you and I'm enjoying the program actually. I'm enjoying
Oh,
it. That was a good one. Just to say to what you have been saying is just brief instructions. I remember last week I was going somewhere and I was with an officer and I let him know that I said, "Look, children belongs to us in
sure.
regard of religion or tribe. No,
Mm,
Christianity. So when I planning, so I think it will help a lot and it's a very good thing. So if we
yeah.
can just note and take note that children is not for one parent.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of age, tribe, whatever country, children are of God. So it all belongs to us. Because
Yeah.
when our parents are not here, somebody is taking care of us in the
Mm-hmm.
school, wherever. So that's all I have to say. I love your program. Thank you very much this morning.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much, Sunday. It's good to hear your voice in the morning. Thank you so much for calling, Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, then have a great day ahead. So, when I used to do the evening shifts, Buki, during the program Adult Conversation, I know he usually calls. So since I stopped doing the evening, so it just sounds like Sunday.
That was
Anyway,
nice.
yeah, it was nice to hear from you, Sunday. And like you said, children are our children, irrespective of religion, who gave birth to them. Whatever you don't want to see happen to your own child, you should not be able to condone it when it's happening to another person's child. You should not be able to take it. Your mind should not be able to carry you to see that happening to another child. That's empathy. And that's you saying that that child does not grow, does not grow and become somebody that he or she is not supposed to become just because you refuse to say something or you refuse to do something. So please, let's always, watch out and protect, even if they are not yours, as much as you can.
Yeah.
All right, so back to the issue now. So this man says that on the side, he makes about 80K every 6 weeks because he owns a small poultry. Now, he said he's building himself step by step. For now, he still lives in his late father's house with his no, he still lives in his father's house with his parents and one of his sisters. Now, he says life there is peaceful. The village is not bad as people bad as people think, and that they have stable electricity. But my own is my ear just ring now. I mean, in a village, there's stable electricity. What's happening to us here? Anyway, conversation for another day. But recently, he said he met a woman he really likes. She's hardworking, respectful, and is somebody that he would want to build life with. So he gathered courage, spoke to her, and he said he wanted to marry her. Now, this was somebody that was also following the conversation for the lady. She was quite agreeing until it came to the point of marriage, and he told her that, oh, I'm still staying with my parents, and that's where it ended. And he said he has spoken to other women in that manner, and all of them just ended it. So now we know that it's because he's still living in the family house. That is why. Do you find this one kind, Buki? I mean, a 36-year-old man, it's not even about the salaries earning, no. It's not even about that, but for the fact that he still stays in a family home. Because I knew that my own mom, got married and stayed in the family home for, I think, in fact, I was giving birth in the family home before my dad moved to Abuja and all. So we could see that generations of our mothers, a lot of them stayed, in the family homes, but they took a lot of things that we now do not have patience to take. So is it that the whole thing is changing, the whole scenario is changing, and be it is just women becoming aware that, you know what, it is my marriage, it is my home, I should build it the way I want to without any kinds of, interruptions and all. So how do you think, or what do you think about this?
Well, I think it's more of we women getting more aware
Hmm.
of how things, or not how things should be, how we want it to be, how
Hmm.
we want it to be. So a whole lot of things are changing depending on your family background and the bond you have, and then of course societal influence and education. Yeah,
Hmm.
because education and enlightenment, you will not want to stay with your in-laws,
Hmm.
on both sides, because it comes with its own baggage.
Yeah.
And when the lady is coming into the home, of the husband, and the husband stays with the parents, as Africans, you will do times two, because you would want to go outside of your way to help the parents, to do this, to do that, except if you have a right thinking husband that will say, you know what, you can't come and kill yourself. Oh. Just focus on your own family. Leave my parents. We'll get somebody to
Hmm.
help in them and all that. But how many men, would do that? And at times when the house is big, is large enough, and you look at it that if a woman does not mind, I mean, yeah, you could come in to stay depending on how the house is partitioned. He said it's in the village, and
Hmm.
he's comfortable with it. He doesn't see anything wrong in it. I don't want to probe, because like I said, there are some families that they bond very well,
Yeah.
and to detach them is a problem, particularly when the house is comfortable. Maybe there are many, many rooms there,
Hmm.
and very comfortable with it. And he has not seen anything wrong in moving out. You understand? It will take a whole lot for him to now see what we are saying. But
Hmm.
if he now wants to marry, and this is, I think he said this is the sixth person, the man
Hmm.
should rise up to say, these people are saying something that I need to get. You understand? Because in this day and age, not many ladies, I would say, not many ladies will like to stay in such a place, even when
Yeah.
it's a detached house or something. For the mere fact that you are staying with your parents in this day and age, nobody wants to. But however, there are some people that will understand. Maybe as you have explained it to them that you are going to use this time, to build your own house, and they can actually see that you are building your own house and all that. And for them, there's a bit of comfort. It's not that they are clashing, they are seeing every day with their mother-in-law, they are using the same kitchen, that is the issue. They are using the same
Hmm.
room, that is the issue. If they are separate, flats, I mean, some women can still accommodate that. And like he said, it's in the village. It's not in the urban rural. So I'm sure the urban setting. So I'm sure the women he is going for, they are the high class in the rural areas, because somebody might not mind, the rural,
Yeah.
somebody will not really mind. So maybe he has a high taste. And of course, for him, I don't think if he really wants to marry, and this is
Hmm.
the sixth person, Abby, is the sixth person? Is it the
I
sixth?
think a fifth
Yeah,
person.
yeah. And they are saying sorry. Then that means they are seeing something. So maybe all of them are staying together. They are using the same amenities, the same kitchen, and no woman
All
will
right,
want.
Buki, just a minute. We have a call. Hello, good morning. Hi, good morning.
This is the 16th time.
Wow. Is it the
Not
toll free line you called? Because earlier you called, we
Yeah,
were not hearing you at all.
the three lines this time around.
Oh, so sorry about this, Miss Oboli. Maybe it must be something to
Problem.
Hmm.
The three stories together. Good morning, Buki. Good morning.
Morning.
So she was
Hmm.
super review time. Call was not going then, so that time I don't know. Probably it's the network.
I think the
Blame
network.
of the people.
Is a network.
Network. Talk later. In the spirit of the festive, let me say happy Ramadan to all our Muslim faithfuls. Looking to these three stories, we go greet separately the people family to combat herself with each person. Because in the family house, she discovered that there's no freedom in the marriage is not free from prying eyes, and there's nothing we can do about that. Everything will be. Secondly, let's pick the two stories you've shared this morning. This community thing about the gender violence, and protecting our girl child. I want to say, thank God this awareness is going on. You know, the last one we did in the corridor here, the violence is corridor. And a couple of pieces to cover. I want to say it's beautiful and initiative. Let me juxtapose that with the skit Mika he saw as well. My husband actually brought that story to my notice. I didn't even know such a thing happened. And really, I want to add is you can see men are aware now. That's the beautiful thing about it. Because the same women are speaking of them now. You see men speaking up to protect the female gender now. Our daughters, our women, our sisters, our aunts, our children. They are speaking up against the boy child, speaking up against the child, protecting them from harm, from pedophiles, left and right. So it's a laudable one. The man was able to, because of the experiences he had had while he was talking, he was able to also see this. And honestly, I commend that guy. If you tell it a skit, I don't think it is a skit. It's not at all.
Hmm.
I believe he's trying to pass a message, and that message is not only empathy, it's not only sympathy, but the empathy made him think about what is happening here, and eventually it turned out to be something that was very, very wrong, and he was able to call that out. Like Buki said, we should always spaces not make it for people's children, but our children are other people's children. People's children should also be our own children too. And Yoruba will say to you, "Farabalẹ̀," simply implies that if you calm down properly, you'll be able to solve it. Men are jumping on this, and I'm saying that pretty soon we are rid of pedophiles, we are rid of all these evil vices in our society. It's not working. It's cutting on every time you come on and you speak about girls being defiled, boys being defiled. And I'm asking myself, what happens to our own children in the God help us? So it's a wicked society, but God will protect our children and children from these evil vices. Good morning. God bless
All
you
right.
all.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Oboli. Thank you for calling, and we'll just keep doing the best we can to keep protecting our little girls, the girl child, and whatever we can do within our power to do so. Keep doing, and we keep talking about these issues until we see a change or we get to the point where we can boldly relax and say yes, the girl child is safe. All right, Buki, let's quickly hear your wrapping thoughts on
Okay, yeah.
this.
So I was wrapping up to say that if this is the sixth woman he's approaching, and if he really, really, really wants to marry me, I will be blunt. He's got to leave that place if he really,
Yeah.
really wants to marry. Except if there are other issues that we are not aware of.
Mm.
The only thing he can say, oh, I've been used to being around my parents, I'm attached to them. Well, if he's an adult, 36, he should be able to detach himself from the parents. He has his own life to live. That's the truth. And if it's the issue of attaching, he could actually get his own flat beside the place. And then,
Exactly.
in the evening when he's coming back from school, he goes there, he sits with them, and whatever it is, if he wants to eat dinner, he's okay, fine, whatever it is, that makes you well. And if it's the issue of, oh, nobody's to take care of them, you can actually get somebody else, possibly the girls. I'm not saying, I'm just painting some pictures. Possibly the girls don't see that if I enter this place, I'm going to be a slave to them. Possibly, maybe the parents are the type of people that they believe that the wife of their son must come and wash clothes, cook in the morning. Is do that. Who wants to do that in this day and age? At that level. No, 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 no. So if he really wants to marry you,
he knows what to do.
Abby, if she wise up, get out of that place. Even the Bible even says it. You understand? You leave
your mother and father.
You understand? Because at times these things clash, and it's so clear, so that you can start your own family. So we're not saying that some people do not do that, but it's just temporarily. 1 year, 2 years, like you mentioned, and there is always a reason why, and then you move out. But maybe if his own, he's just he's used to it. I just pray that there's no laziness in it as well.
Yeah.
Comfort. He's used to the easy comfort. He does not want anything to, to pull him.
There's the issue of paying rent. There's the issue of you now be doing the provision. You're now the sole, you're solely responsible for them. But maybe in the family house, anything where they see cook, you go stitch up. You know, go pay rent. You know, go
exactly. So Otimolara, you understand?
Because even from the story, you can find out that man, I'm in my comfort zone. No, I'm not ready to shift. I'm not ready to move.
At 36, you got to shape up, man. Yeah, he's not ready to marry. No, you're not ready to marry. If he's ready, do the need.
All right. Thank you so much, Buki, for today. So public holiday is tomorrow and Friday, so we're not going to be having the ladies of HerLens join us. But myself and Fumi, we try to keep it up so that you all at home will definitely get to hear HerLens, and we'll keep you company like we promised. So Buki, do want to enjoy your holiday. We will meet up on Monday, God's willing.
I'm be with you on Monday. So for me,
yes, hopefully.
I'm going to go and sit down with my mentor.
I beg all the words of wisdom where you go here, carry and come share with us on Monday.
No, trust me. Then I will declare who the mentor is and the things I got from him.
No, voila. We did here with you. All right, so that's it from us right here on HerLens. Thank you so much, Sunday, for calling this morning. Thank you, Mrs. Oboli, for how you steadfastly kept trying, even as network was not allowing. So we do appreciate all of your effort, and each and every one of you who tuned in to listen to us. Once again, happy Eid or Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Fitr to all our Muslim faithfuls. Do well to enjoy it, and let's keep praying for our country, even though the fasting has ended. But let's continue with that until we see a better Nigeria for ourselves. So do well to have a great day, but stay with us right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7.
And happy holiday.
WFM 91.7.
To sponsor this program, call the number 0816 480 7613.
Nigeria, a nation of many languages and many tribes. We will stand together, live together, and grow together. United we stand, united we thrive. This message is brought to you by Women Radio WFM 91.7 FM.
HB 1349 is a House Bill number 1349. HB 1349 is reserved seat for women in the Senate, House of Representatives, and state assemblies. HB 1349, when passed, will make our democracy stronger. Appeal to your senators and House of Rep members to vote for HB 1349 for a better Nigeria. If you love Nigeria, support HB 1349 by sharing this message, brought to you by Women Radio 91.7 FM.
The holy month of Ramadan is here again, a month to submit to the will of Allah, a month to share, a month to care, and most importantly, a month of goodness. Start well and end well with the goodness of peak milk at Sahar and Iftar to stay nourished every day.
Share goodness this Ramadan with the delicious nourishment of peak milk every day. Ramadan Kareem. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Are you number 87? Okay, please wait.
How many hours have you wasted sitting in hospital queues just to see a doctor for 10 minutes? There's a smarter way. Introducing TeleDoc, your secure digital platform to consult verified doctors anytime, anywhere. With TeleDoc, you choose how you want care. Need something quick? Go for a quick consult. Just 10 minutes. Need more time? Book a full consult, 30 minutes of personalized care tailored just for you. No traffic, no crowded waiting rooms, no unnecessary delays. Simply book at your preferred time. Join a secure video call inside the app and speak directly with licensed doctors you can trust. Have medical records? Upload them easily before your consultation. From general health concerns to specialist advice, TeleDoc connects you to real doctors, real answers, real care. Download the TeleDoc app today on Google Play Store and Apple Store.
It's a crime. I am going to report this to the authorities. You must pay for this. I will not keep quiet again. Enough is enough.
A woman's place is in the kitchen. We want a man for the job, not a woman.
Why they go end gender discrimination? To block woman